Hey guys, this is my quick review on the Redragon K615R. I've had this for about 2 weeks now and put it to the test. Used it for work, gaming, and just regular computer usage. This is called the Elise Rainbow, which is Redragon's low-profile blue switch mechanical keyboard. So it's supposed to be very tactile and clicky, and it has those blue switches. So this is actually my first time with a low-profile mechanical keyboard, and it's also my first time with a 60% keyboard. This is supposed to be very, very compact. As you can see, it has like a 60% layout. There is no function keys unless you hit, the alternative function button to hit these function keys. And there's no arrow keys. So if you don't really use the function keys that often, or you don't really use the arrow keys, then you might be thinking of picking this one up. But first of all, I'm just going to go with the build and just the form factor. As you can see, very, very thin. And this thing is also super light. This part feels more like metal. And the back here, this actual back plate feels like plastic. And the metal kind of wraps around, as you can see. There's 2 rubber feet on the back, which is nice. And this is not wireless, it is plugged in using a USB Type-C cable. And you can also have a look at some of those low-profile blue switches right there. I forgot to mention, this keyboard comes with the key puller and also the key switch puller, because it does come with a bunch of spare keys. Sorry, that's upside down right there. So it is a hot swappable keyboard, so if anything breaks, at least they give you some spare keys. So that's really nice to see for a budget keyboard like this one. This is what it comes with. Has a right angle USB-C cable, which plugs into the keyboard, of course. And the other side is a USB-A. So the thing I want to mention about this USB-C plug is that it's fine. It plugs in, of course, but the connection is not the most secure thing in the world. It kind of wobbles around, you can see. So it's not that steady. Something to keep in mind. I don't know how it's going to do in terms of long-term durability, but yeah. Now, one of my favorite things about this keyboard is when you plug it in, the lights kind of do some kind of dance. Yeah, anyway, that's what the keyboard looks like when it's powered up. You saw the cool little neat dance it does. This keyboard does not have like individual RGB lighting. I don't think they can change lights. From what I've read and what I've seen, each row has a set color, and that's basically it. So if you guys like to mess around with the different colors and stuff, you can't change them, but you can change like what they do. So if you hit the second function key and hit 9, it will change or cycle through the different RGB modes. So you can see this one has it so that when you click something, the lights turn off where you click, and it kind of slowly fades back. There's a bunch of different modes that are like interactive, and then you also have the basic ones that fade in, fade out. Like what's this one? You can see it's just fading. And if you see on camera, the RGB lights are like flickering. It's not actually flickering in real life, of course. It's just has something to do with the refresh rate with the camera recording with the LED lights. I'm just going to keep cycling through here. You can see there's a lot of different modes. It's kind of hard to see when it's flickering on camera, but this one you can see very clearly. The keys you click, there's like a wave effect. Here's another one. yeah, it's like doing it by row. So very, very cool. This one is just lighting up all the individual keys and all that stuff. So there's a bunch here. I'm not gonna like cycle through all of them. I'm just gonna go back. Look at that. You even have like Christmas lights and things. They went all out when trying to come up with all these different lighting modes for this keyboard. Okay, so it looks like I'm kind of back to normal now. So this is where I'm just gonna leave it. I find low profile keyboards a lot more ergonomic than regular keyboards because it's so flat and low to the table that you don't really need to raise your wrists so high. And I also, when I'm using my Razer mechanical keyboard, I have to use a wrist rest because it's just elevating my wrists at a really awkward angle. But with this one, no wrist rest required. You can just type away and use this because it's so flat and low to the table. It's excellent in terms of ergonomics. I actually like low profile, flat keyboards a lot more than regular sized keyboards. Keyboard typing, response, feedback, everything is really, really top notch with this keyboard. It does have a very, very satisfying click. They are blue switches and they require very little pressure to click. So because it's so flat and it requires, you know, so little pressure to click, it's very easy to click. With this keyboard, you can type insanely fast on it, but it also makes it a little bit more easy to make mistakes because of how flat it is and how easy it is to press. You kind of find yourself pressing multiple keys, you know, at the same time. So a lot of the times when I'm typing, I'm trying to hit one key and I might hit like 2 keys at once. So that's a common problem when using this keyboard. If you're trying to do like short bursts of typing, this is excellent for that. You can type very, very quickly with this, but you just have to watch out. You will have to do a lot of backspacing because you will make some frequent mistakes. Unless you just have used this for a lot longer than I have. Again, I've had it for like 2 weeks. If you had this for a lot longer, then you could get very accustomed to it and your mistakes will drastically drop. I'm gonna go into my biggest problem, and it doesn't really have to do with the keyboard itself, but mainly with the 60% layout in general. Again, it doesn't have to do with this keyboard, but just these kind of keyboards in general, these kind of compact keyboards, I find myself really, really missing a dedicated arrow key section, especially if I'm working, you know, doing things in Excel or whatever. Having arrow keys is kind of essential. And even just playing games, a lot of games I use the arrow keys and this one doesn't have it. And if you take away playing games, even just regular typing, you're typing like a Word document or even just typing to your friends on Discord, if you make like typos and stuff, I kind of just find myself going to the keyboard and, you know, using the arrow keys to get to where that error is and I want to fix it like that. But with this one, I can't. So anytime I make some kind of error and I'm not trying to backspace to it or whatever, I have to use a mouse to go all the way back to where that error is. So yeah, just simple things like that, even just typing on Discord, Word documents, not having dedicated arrow keys for me is a really big downside just because I find myself gravitating towards using the arrow keys so often. And I can't use this to play certain games like StarCraft 2. I use the function keys a lot, you know, for your macros, selecting your army or whatever, doing the base cameras. Yeah, certain games like RTS and stuff that will require a bunch of different keys and require like a lot of them to be used. You can't really do it with this keyboard, well, depending what game you play and depending what kind of hotkeys you use. Overall, I really, really enjoy using this keyboard. It's one of the most comfortable typing experiences on such a compact keyboard. I type faster on this thing than a lot of the full-sized big mechanical keyboards, just because of how responsive, snappy, and ergonomic it is to type on this low-profile blue switch kind of keyboard. But yeah, just not having the function keys and not having arrow keys is really, really hard for me to get used to. Yeah, so it's all kind of just personal taste, personal use. That's it for this review on this Redragon Elise Rainbow or the K615R. Thanks for watching this video, and I will see you guys in the next one.